Finally, it is the day that I start my tomato seeds, and can you tell that I am excited? Now, there is a lot to go through when we're talking about growing tomatoes, so I've decided what I'm going to do is split this into a multiple part series. The benefit of splitting it into a multi-part series means that I can show you each step as I'm doing them with my tomato plants. If I wanted to put it into one long video, I'd have to wait till the end of the season, and then it'd be no good to you till next year. So this way we can grow along together at the same time, and as your questions arise, chances are my plants will be at the same stage, so I'll be answering the questions that you have. So today's video is going to start at the very beginning, and we are going to sow our seeds. So I start by filling my seed tray. The gaps that you fill the compost into are called modules or cells. Now, if you don't have many tomato plants or many seeds to sow, my recommendation would be one seed per cell. That way you don't have to worry about pricking out the seedlings or transplanting them at a later date. But if, like me, you need quite a lot of seedlings, then I'm going to take the approach here that's called multi-sowing, which is where I sow more than one seed in each module and I prick them out and transplant them at a later date. So the first thing I would say is make sure that you have your labels and your marker handy. Mislabeling is one of the biggest issues for gardeners out there, and the problem is that all the seedlings look the same. So don't skip this step, make sure you label, you will not remember. The tomato seeds are quite small and that makes them a little bit finicky, so I like to use a dibber to put them onto the compost. A pencil will work just as well, but a little tip is if you dip it in some water, it makes it easier to pick the seeds up. And that means that when you press them down to the compost, you're making good contact, which will give them an increased chance of germinating. When I'm multi-sowing seeds in a cell, I try not to do any more than 8. It just makes it easier when I have to go and prick them out and transplant them in the future. Tomato seeds need a warm, humid environment to germinate. So in order to achieve that, I pop on a lid and I bring them into the house where it's nice and warm. And I leave the lid on until I see signs of germination, then I take it off. Now you have all the information that you need to get your seeds sown. For part 2, we'll return in a couple of weeks once everything has germinated, and we'll focus on the cells where we sowed multiple seeds and we'll prick them out and transplant them. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below or you can get me on Instagram. Happy sowing!